Nnamdi Kanu, not a separatist, but self-determination activist, Mike Ozekhome. Mike Ozekhome is one of the sons representing Nnamdi Kanu in the court today. So this is what he's saying, that Nnamdi Kanu is not a separatist, but self-determination activist. Let's see what he has to say more about this. The notable constitutional lawyer also stated that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is not a separatist agitator, but a self-determination activist. Chief Mike Ozekhome, the popular constitutional lawyer and human rights activist, also spoken about Nnamdi Kanu. He said that the claim that Nigeria is indissoluble is a joke, saying that those who are making such claims should better not take Nigeria unity for granted. The notable constitutional lawyer also stated that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is not a separatist agitator, but a self-determination activist. He also told those who feel that Nigeria is indissoluble to ask the USSR, Sudan, and Yugoslavia, and other countries that dissolved and went their separate ways, adding that he laughs when people say they want united and indissoluble Nigeria, when they take unity for granted and does not care about inclusiveness in government. Speaking while delivering a lecture entitled Nigeria in the Throes of Insecurity toward 2023, Eni Panesha, during the 11th Zik lecture series organized by Faculty of Social Sciences, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Chief Ozekhome said that non-inclusiveness in the cause of self-determination struggles is the cause of self-determination struggles in Nigeria, which leads to insecurity. He said that the greater insecurity that breeds other forms of insecurity are political, economic, social, and cultural, physical insecurity, just as employment, family security fuels other forms of insecurity. Chief Ozekhome also warned against treating of knowledge and education with disdain, saying that soon it will come up with its own type of insecurity. Wow. I heartily go foul at times when I hear Nigerian leaders mouth moral platitudes and ineffective liberal disquisitions about the indivisibility and indissolubility of Nigeria. Even the 1999 Constitution also tells that historical lie in Section 2, Subsection 1, when it imperiously declared that Nigeria shall be one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign state to be known by the name the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is that why successive leaderships take the unity, indivisibility, and indissolubility of Nigeria for granted? I roar with laughter because old Russia made the same historical mistake. It was forced to dissolve on December 26, 1991 by Declaration number 142H of the Soviet of the Republic of the Supreme Soviet. Chief Ozekhome, who also blamed successive Nigerian leaders, including the present government, of fueling insecurity with non-inclusiveness, lopsidedness in their administration style, declared that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, is not a separatist agitator, but a self-determination activist, adding that what he is doing is enshrined in the law universally. IPOB is not a violent group. It is the federal government and security agents who went and attacked them and killed many on Afarauku, Omahia, where Kanu escaped by the whiskers. Let me be very clear on this. The federal government should, as a matter of extreme urgency, release and free Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB. It is the step and not his continued illegal detention after he had been freed of all criminal allegations by the Court of Appeal, Abuja. He said that Kanu's release will bring about peace, tranquility, and conducive environment for the 2023 elections. We must be careful to think that Nigeria is indivisible. We must nurture those indices that guarantee unity. No right-thinking Nigerian can fault Chinua Achebe, asserting that the problem of Nigeria is leadership. Wow. So this is Chief Ozekhome here, who is also a son and an activist lawyer representing Nnamdi Kanu. So what he's telling us here is that Nnamdi Kanu is not a separatist, but is a self-determination individual, a self-determination activist. That means self-determination means they want to go their way, all right? Because they are currently not being included in everything that has to do with the governing of Nigeria. So what Nnamdi Kanu is saying is allow us to go our way. So do you call that separation or self-determination? Self-determination is another word, though it has its own clauses, but I think to a layman, whether separation or determination or self-determination, they're about the same thing. All right. So what Ozekhome is saying here is that Nigerian leaders, both the past and present, that are taking that indivisibility and indissolubility of Nigeria for granted. They are taking Nigerian unity for granted. And that is why we can see what is happening in this government, where all political appointments are lopsided, the administration is completely lopsided and tilted towards the north and towards the people from his kindred, all right? Because he believes that Nigeria cannot divide, and nothing will ever make Nigeria divide. But again, Ozekhome is telling them that anybody taking that direction might be a liar, because they should go and ask what happened to Soviet Union, to Russia, what happened to Yugoslavia, what happened to Sudan, even Korea. Now we have North and South Korea. So go and ask what happened to those people. They also believed in that fallacy that their country will never be divided, even when it is in the constitution. But it later happened. So meaning, is Nigeria stronger than those countries? Meaning that anybody thinking that Nigeria cannot divide or cannot be dissolved might be in the dreams. Because even though it's enshrined erroneously in our constitution that Nigeria shall be one indivisible nation and to be called Federal Republic of Nigeria, that doesn't mean that it cannot be dissolved. All right? Because when the issues arise, it will be dissolved. Because the way the government has handled insecurities and other forms of insecurity issue in Nigeria is not encouraging. He said there are different types of insecurity here, different forms. Some are political, some are economic, some are social, some are cultural, some are physical insecurity. Just like we have an unemployment issue again, also causing some level of insecurity at family level as well. And all because the government has failed in all facets of leadership, in all facets of governance in the country. The government has failed completely. And that is the reason people are asking to secede, to go their own ways. Apart from IPOB asking for Biafra, the Oduduwas are also asking for Yoruba nation. And some time ago, I heard the Jaws also came up with their Jaw nation. So I know that several parts of this country want to go their own ways. We are actually a conglomerate of regions that cannot come together, that are immiscible, that cannot coexist. So we need to stay our own independently, and then we can relate as neighboring nations, and then have our independent system of government. All right. So, but unfortunately, these are not happened because the Northerners feel they cannot divide Nigeria, because they are threatening that if Nigeria divide, they will suffer the most, because they feel they don't have resources. But they have more than enough resources, because almost all the solid minerals are in the north. But because of the eye on the money coming from oil, nobody wants to look inwards anymore. So this is what Michael Ozekhome is saying, that Nnamdi Kanu is not just a separatist, but a self-determination activist, all right? And he should be released immediately, because holding him and continuing to disobey court order will not help Nigeria. Holding him also will not help the upcoming 2023 election. It's better they release him before the election, because holding him down through the election period, thinking that that is the only way to sustain peace, to have a peaceful election, might be a deceit, because if his people will come out and tell you that no election will hold in the southeast, and there's nothing anybody will do about it. You continue to kill them, they continue to come out. And they will not get tired, and they will not chicken out. So the government need to look inward what the implication is for continuing to detain Nnamdi Kanu, even after the court has cleaned and declared him free of all allegations and of all charges to go home and even to be compensated. But this government, I don't understand, because the government of Fulanis that hate Igbos with passion. That is what I see from it. But then we just need to be careful the way we are treading, so we don't go and jeopardize national peace that is already shaking. So thank you for listening, and this is what is coming from Michael Ozekhome at this time about Nnamdi Kanu.